to order. Standing Committee on Access to Information, Privacy and Ethics, meeting number 101. Pursuant to Standing Order 108-3H7, study of breach of personal information involving Cambridge Analytica and Facebook. Today we have from Aggregate IQ, Zachary Massingham, Chief Executive Officer, and Jeff Sylvester, Chief Operating Officer. Welcome, gentlemen. Mr. Sylvester, go ahead.
Actually, I think Zach's going to start off this time.
Okay, go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Zach Massingham, and I'm the co-founder and Chief Executive Officer of Aggregate IQ. I would like to thank you for inviting us to join you here today to provide information to support your study and to answer your questions. I would like to start by sharing some information about our company. My idea for Aggregate IQ started in 2011 while working for a campaign. I saw there were a number of inefficient things that campaigns were doing, and learnings weren't being applied from one campaign through to the next. They were using paper to keep track of what they were doing. I created Aggregate IQ to provide IT services to help them use technology to campaign better. I purchased the aggregateiq.com domain name in April of 2011 and used Aggregate IQ as a trade name for my consulting work. In 2013, Jeff Sylvester and I decided to formally work together. We incorporated Aggregate IQ Data Services Limited in November of 2013, and today we just go by Aggregate IQ or AIQ. Given some of the testimony you have heard and some of what has been reported in the media, we thought it would be important to clarify a few things. We are not, nor have we ever been, a department or subsidiary of SCL or Cambridge Analytica. We are and have always been 100% Canadian owned and operated. There were two people responsible for founding the company, and those same two people are responsible for the operations of that company, myself and Jeff Sylvester. All of the work we do for our clients is kept separate from every other client. The only personal information we use in our work is that which is provided to us by our clients for specific purposes. In doing so, we do our very best to comply with all applicable privacy laws in each jurisdiction where we work. We have never managed, had access to, or used any Facebook data allegedly improperly obtained by Cambridge Analytica or by anyone else. We are an online advertising website and software development company from Victoria, British Columbia. With determination, a lot of hard work, and with the help of our amazing team, we've had the opportunity to work on projects around the world, but we remain a small Canadian company. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jeff Sylvester, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer and the other co-founder of Aggregate IQ. I'd like to tell you a little bit more about what we do, but before that, I would like to tell you what we do not do. We are not a big data company. We are not a data analytics company. We do not harvest or otherwise illegally obtain data. We never share information from one client to another. And we are not a practitioner of the so-called digital dark arts. As Zach said, we do online advertising, make websites and software for our clients. So let me explain that a little bit. During an election, politicians from all parties go out into their communities. They put up signs on busy street corners and on supporters' lawns. They do Burma shaves on the side of the road, waving at passing cars. There are coffee parties, town halls, debates, and countless conversations in doorways, on the phone, as you try to share your vision and your ideas for making your community and our country a better place. All of this, of course, while listening to your constituents, talking about what they care about most, and what we do is no different. It's just online. When we place a Facebook ad for a client, it's a lot like a Burma shave when you stand on the side of the road waving. You might measure the success of waving at passing cars by the number of folks that honk and wave back with a smile versus the number of those that might honk and use a slightly less appropriate wave. You might have an idea as to the number of cars that went by and how many were positive or negative, but you don't know who those people are, and it's the same with an online ad. You can choose to show your ad in a particular geography or to a general demographic, but you only get back how many times it was shown or how many people clicked on it. You don't know who those people are, and you don't have access to their personal information. Our employees are software developers and online advertising specialists. The software we make is the same as the tools that each of the parties represented here uses on their campaigns. There's software for helping go door to door, software for making phone calls, and software to send emails to remind people to vote. We also have reporting software to help show campaigns how they're doing along the way. These tools help candidates and elected officials connect with more people than they've ever been able to before. Now, instead of a quick handshake at a town hall meeting, constituents can have a meaningful dialogue with the people who represent them, whether they're at home, in Ottawa, or anywhere around the world. Having said that, while we do our best, we don't always get everything right. On Sunday, March 25th, we were alerted by the media to unauthorized access to a code repository. We took immediate steps to lock down that server, and indeed all of our servers and services, to ensure no further access was possible. During the process of locking down the server and investigating how the unauthorized access had occurred, we discovered that some personal information from voters in the US was inadvertently left in one of the code backups. Within a few hours of the initial report by the media, in addition to notifying our clients, we contacted the acting deputy commissioner from the Office of the Information and Privacy Commissioner of British Columbia, and we launched a full and thorough investigation. That investigation is still ongoing, but we're committed to examining every detail to see what caused that system to be modified to allow the individual access to that server. And as part of that investigation, we've sent letters to the individuals who gained unauthorized access to ask that they certify that they've deleted all of the information they obtained without permission. We're following the guidelines from the Office of the Information and Privacy Commissioner of British Columbia, and we look forward to following up with their office as our investigation progresses. That there was any personal information in our code repository at all was a mistake on our part. It was not supposed to be there. As the person ultimately responsible for that, I'm sorry. We've already put in place measures to prevent that from happening again. And as we complete our investigation, I anticipate there may be additional recommendations and improvements that can be made. The federal and provincial privacy commissioners may also have recommendations, which we welcome and will act upon. We are committed to ensuring that this investigation is done thoroughly and done right. In closing, we have built a successful tech company in Victoria, British Columbia. We've employed and continue to employ many highly educated young people, and we're proud of what we have built right here in Canada. There are a lot of misconceptions about the modern use of advertising for political and other purposes, and to the extent that we can assist the committee by explaining what actually happens and how the technology is used, we're committed to doing that. I would like to thank the committee for inviting us here today and for its important and valuable work, and I too look forward to your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. First up for 7 minutes, Mr. Erskine-Smith.
Thanks very much. You're on record saying that AIQ's never knowingly been involved in any illegal activity, but given what you know now, do you have any reason to believe that AIQ was unknowingly involved in any illegal activity in the past?
No.
Dominic Cummings, the director of Vote Leave, is quoted as saying that, without a doubt, the Vote Leave campaign owes a great deal of its success to the work of Aggregate IQ. We couldn't have done it without them. How much was AIQ paid by Vote Leave?
We were paid for, we invoiced the amount for all of the advertising, but we were paid approximately, I have to think, it was about $140,000 altogether. Yeah.
140. So I've got here an expenditure claimed by Vote Leave in the amount of 2.7 million pounds.
Correct. That's for the advertising as a whole. Other than the amount that we talked about, the vast majority of that was for advertising. So that would go directly to like through us to places like Facebook and Google.
So when I said how much was AIQ paid by Vote Leave, the answer was 2.7 million pounds, but the profit being different.
Oh, well, no, that's not. Yeah, that's not profit. So and that's where
you were paid 2.7 million pounds, but you directed a lot of that ad spend to other parts.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. Who was your point of contact at Vote Leave?
At Vote Leave was the director of digital operations.
And the name?
Henry Dezout.
And where did AIQ obtain the data it used to profile and target voters in the course of the Brexit campaign?
So we don't have data to profile and target, and we don't profile and target individuals.
Okay, so it was just you were selecting certain demographic characteristics on Facebook ads. Is that the idea?
Generally, yes. So the campaign provided us with the information on who they would like to, from a general demographic sense, who they believe their target audience was. And then we put that into the tools like Facebook and Google in order to show ads to those
How many
folks.
parties paid AIQ further to the Brexit campaign. So Vote Leave paid you.
Correct.
I understand this to be correct. Change Britain, the DUP, Gov 2016, Veterans for Britain, and the Be Leave. Were there any other campaigns that paid you?
That's not correct.
Okay, so correct me.
Yeah, so during the referendum, we worked with Vote Leave, Be Leave,
Yeah.
Veterans for Britain, and
Yeah.
the DUP.
Okay. And you were paid, I understand, Be Leave in an amount of over £600,000, again directed to an ad spend.
Correct.
What about the other parties?
With Veterans for Britain, it was about £100,000, and the DUP was about £32,000.
Okay. And where did you work out of? Did you work out of the UK during the referendum?
We had a couple of people go there from time to time, but all the work was done in Victoria, BC.
Okay, so I understand that you haven't agreed to cooperate with the UK Information Commissioner's inquiry into the use of data during the Brexit referendum. Is that correct?
No, that's not correct. So on the 17th of May, 2017, the Information Commissioner from the UK sent us a letter.
Yep.
We responded on the 24th of May, and then we didn't hear from her again until the 30th of January of this year, 2018, when she sent us a letter, and we replied.
So you are willing to cooperate with the...
We have been cooperating the whole time.
Okay. So you've got a number of different campaigns that are all using your services further to the Brexit campaign. Who coordinated and directed the ad spend of each?
So like, who from our team or from them?
No,
How did they
so
provide it?
we've got your point of contact for the Vote Leave campaign, you've mentioned already. And who's your point of contact at the Be Leave campaign?
Mr. Grimes.
Okay, and who directs the ad spend for the over £600,000 from Be Leave?
Mr. Grimes.
Okay, so when did he direct that ad spend?
So the spending for Be Leave was really in the last 6 or 7 days of the campaign.
Okay.
And all of the direction and all of the information for that ad spend came from Be Leave.
Okay. So there was no coordination, in your view, between the Be Leave and Vote Leave campaigns in directing the ad spend of Be Leave?
We saw no evidence of any coordination between the two.
Not even, okay, so perhaps you can explain why there was what was the purpose of the Google Drive that you, Mr. Massingham, had access to, and the owner of which was Ms. Woodcock, the Chief Operating Officer of Vote Leave, but it was a Be Leave Google Drive. Explain to this committee how that can possibly happen if there was no coordination whatsoever.
I can't speak to that. I was unaware that there was even a Be Leave drive within a Vote Leave drive.
So you didn't have access to that drive?
I may have had access to it, but I was unaware that it was there.
So if I could clarify, we did have access to the Vote Leave drive, and
So Google Drive.
Well, so there was a Vote Leave Google Drive that we had access to.
Right.
And that was a place where the campaign would put, like when you send an email and it can't contain too many pictures, like your photos, you might put it on something like Dropbox, and that was what that drive was used for when they're sending us large sets of images.
So I just want to be clear. You're getting £2.7 million in an ad spend from the Vote Leave campaign, over £600,000 from the Be Leave campaign. You've got access to a Google Drive that is owned by the Vote Leave, or that is, the owner of the Google Drive is the CEO, Chief Operating Officer, of Vote Leave, but it's a Be Leave Google Drive. You have access to it, Mr. Massingham, and you have no idea why, and you don't remember?
That's correct.
If
We didn't collaborate on.
If I could clarify a bit,
Yeah, please clarify, because that's crazy.
Yeah, the drive itself was a Vote Leave drive, and on that drive were, images and things like that we might use for advertising that we had access to. And appreciate we did not have access to the entire drive. In looking back,
Do you have communications from Mr. Grimes directing you how to spend the £600,000?
The directions from Mr. Grimes were done in the Be Leave Slack channel.
Okay, so do you have those Slack records? Can you provide those Slack records to this committee?
I think we still have them, but I can check, yeah.
Okay, so make sure you have them, and please provide any direction you received from Mr. Grimes on the ad spend of £600,000 to this committee.
10 seconds.
Well, have you had conversations with Mr. Grimes post-referendum or anyone from the Vote Leave campaign?
Intermittently, if they get a request from the Information Commissioner.
Any conversations about the Election Commission's investigation?
Yeah, if they have questions about things that we did on their behalf, they would ask us.
But you communicated with Mr. Grimes and with anyone from Vote Leave about the Election Commission's investigation?
Only afterward, yeah.
Okay, so any correspondence between Mr. Grimes and anyone from Vote Leave about the Election Commission's investigation, I'd also like that correspondence to be provided to this committee. Fair?
Yeah, I don't know that I have any because most of any communication was done by phone, but I'll see what I can find.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Next up for 7 minutes, Mr. Kent.
Thank you, Chair, and thanks to both of you for attending today. According to Christopher Wiley's narrative, AIQ wouldn't exist but for him. That because of his connections with you through the Liberal Party of Canada, work that you'd done in the past, that he suggested that AIQ be set up to enable people who didn't want to move to the UK to actually work for Cambridge Analytica. Is that an accurate characterization of the
No.
relationship?
Zach and I set up Aggregate IQ. As Zach mentioned in his opening statement, he had registered a domain as part of his personal work in 2011, and Zach and I had been talking about how we could work together for a long time. Mr. Wiley certainly introduced us to SCL, but we'd never heard of any Cambridge Analytica at that time, and indeed hadn't for a long time after that. And so, no, Mr. Wiley did not set up Aggregate IQ.
Now, last week, Mr. Vickery testified before this committee, and he says that he's not sure of the precise relationship between AIQ and Cambridge Analytica and SCL, but he says, I think his direct quote was, "The walls of separation are very porous." Again, would you agree with that characterization?
No, not at all.
Again, Mr. Vickery said well, no, this comes back to Mr. Wiley's narrative. He said that he helped get AIQ up and running in order to help SCL, essentially a Canadian entity for people who wanted to work on SCL projects who didn't want to move to London. And Facebook suspended Aggregate IQ for its connections with Cambridge Analytica and the possibility that it might have some of the data that Cambridge Analytica improperly obtained. Did Facebook, do you believe then, from your answers this morning, that Facebook, in its suspension of AIQ, acted improperly or without justification?
Well, Facebook is its own company. I can't speak to why they choose to do things, but I know that they are investigating, and we've contacted them and offered to cooperate as best as we can. And so I'm looking forward to them completing their investigation and again, continuing as good customers of Facebook.
Now, when Mr. Vickery stumbled upon the subdomain GitLab at AIQ, he said that he didn't use any of the logins or access facilities that he might have, and he says that there is no evidence that the exposed code or private data was taken, but he also says there is no evidence that it wasn't taken. Do you have any evidence one way or the other yourself?
So we indeed can see that the security researcher did gain a copy of that data, but we upon learning of that, we launched a full investigation, notified the Office of the Information Privacy Commissioner of British Columbia, and that investigation is continuing. So we're committed to going through every line and every record to make sure that no such access occurred.
Why was that subdomain, this big repository of data, left unprotected? Why was it left open?
So to clarify, it's not a data repository, but rather a code repository. But of course, that it was exposed, of course, was an issue that should not have been. We're investigating still to see exactly how that change occurred to allow it to be accessed. And as I said, we're going to work with the Office of the Information Privacy Commissioner of British Columbia to work through that process.
It wasn't left open deliberately?
Oh, no, not at all.
I mean, a skeptical person, a suspicious person might say that while your company might not have improperly used information or manipulated information or mined information, that by leaving it open and by leaving all of the access codes and logins available, that others could have freely misused that information?
The information that was in there, in terms of access, much of it were dummy codes. There were a couple that were not, but as soon as we learned of the access, we secured all of those servers, changed all of the codes, and we have no records of any access to anything else other than the code repository. And as I said, we're going to work carefully through this process, following best practices and the guidelines from the Office of Information Privacy Commissioner.
Again, one knows that that those who work in the digital world have original senses of humor, but one of the page grabs from that subdomain has a file called ephemera with a subtitle saying, because there is no such thing as truth. This was attached to the U.S. Election projects, I understand, that Aggregate IQ was working on. Is that correct?
That is work that we're doing for a client in the U.S., but the names and comments are just things that our developers write in there from time to time.
And while you say today that you weren't handling improperly harvested Facebook data, did you work with the Amazon platform Mechanical Turks in your massaging of data that perhaps had been processed from Facebook through that Amazon site?
We don't, I wouldn't say we massage data, and I don't recall ever, no, we've never worked with Mechanical Turks.
So you've never worked with Mechanical Turks?
No.
Oh, okay. 1 minute. Thank you very much. Again, Mr. Vickery said that within 11 minutes of him notifying federal authorities of that subdomain, the site was shut down. So it was that instant. He also says that in his testimony that I can find his, that he had found evidence of cryptocurrency on your website, and that too has been taken down. Can you explain why?
So the cryptocurrency project is a project we were doing for a client. They had asked us to create a token, a token sale. And a token is something that's attached to the blockchain. And it's a rather complicated topic, but in short, it's a way that they can keep track of folks who might be interested in their project. And right now, that project is not launched for that client because they're working with their legal team to make sure they're meeting all of the British Columbia Securities Commission and the American Federal Securities Commission guidelines for such sales.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Kent.
Oh, thank you.
Done. Yep. Up for 7 minutes, Mr. Angus.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Sylvester, Mr. Massingham. I'm very interested in how Aggregate IQ obtained is it $5 million in contracts on the Brexit vote? Mr. Massingham, did you get those contracts through SCL?
No.
I'm just interested because when I look at the SCL Commercial Elections and Social Group Management, you are listed as the head of SCL Canada. So did you go rogue on SCL? Because
No.
no,
That we were never a part of SCL.
you're never a part of SCL. Well, you do realize that what you testify here is like testifying in court, Mr. Massingham. You can't make things up.
I do.
Okay, so I'm looking at their Trinidad, the agreement with SCL Group Trinidad on what work they will do, and it's AIQ that's going to deliver for SCL. I'm looking at their American elections pitch, and the key team members, number 1, number 2, Zach Massingham, Jeff Sylvester, SCL. I see their elections group management, head of SCL Canada, Zach Massingham. 4 spots to hire IT engineers, AIQ to hire, AIQ to hire, AIQ to hire, AIQ to hire. So, you're not part of SCL Canada.
No.
You aren't SCL Canada.
I am not SCL Canada.
Would there be any reason that you would take the fall for SCL? Because you've damaged your reputation substantially, don't you think, with this international crisis? Why would you guys take the fall for SCL?
If I could speak to that.
Mr. Massingham, he's listed as the head of SCL Canada. You weren't, so just trying to get a sense.
Sorry, I'm not a part of SCL.
Okay. So you received 40% from the Vote Leave campaign. You worked with the Democratic Unionist Party, Veterans for Britain, and Believe. Believe was a marginal students group that had an email contact list of less than 1,000, and yet they were given £625,000. They're under investigation in the UK for possibly circumventing the electoral finance limits. Do you believe that they should be under investigation?
No.
I mean, the investigation is, by the Electoral Commission. Of course, the Electoral Commission contacted us last year. It was around, where was it here? The March of 2017. And we answered all of their questions with respect to our relationship with Believe and with Vote Leave.
Okay, so it's really interesting. So Believe is this marginal students group that gets funneled £625,000. Now, if I was a student activist, that would be a lot of money for me to use. And yet they contact this group that's this Canadian company that's above an optometrist shop in Victoria and give them the full amount. And now that full amount of money was directed to ads in the last 6 days of the campaign. That would certainly be a way of circumventing the electoral financing limits. Do you not agree?
No, I don't agree with that.
You don't agree? Well, it's interesting because Christopher Wiley is on the record, and he gave testimony, and like I said, testimony is supposed to be true. And he said he asked you if you were siloing your work because you had all these interconnected campaigns, interconnected financing, and interconnected Google Drives. And you said, Mr. Sylvester, quote, absolutely not, it was just one common ad program. That would be illegal, would it not?
Sorry, I don't know. I said, when did I
That's
say
what
that?
he says you said. He said, they conceded to me, and this is a verbatim quote, and I stand by it. I remember Jeff Sylvester telling me what you were doing was, quote, totally illegal.
So I did have a conversation with Mr. Wiley in April of 2017, well after Brexit. Mr. Wiley and I have known each other since 2005. And as part of that conversation, we certainly did speak about what the media was talking about the Believe relationship with Vote Leave. I've never believed that what was going on was illegal or that anything that we did was anything but above board.
Okay, but, I mean, you could see how strange it looks that there was campaign financing limits and all the groups that were given money who seem to be fairly marginal names funneled the money to your company to be used in the ads. You shared the same Google Drive between these. And they are under investigation for evading the electoral limits, and it keeps coming back to aggregate IQ. Mr. Wiley also said that when he talked to you and had that conversation where he said that you said what was happening was totally illegal, that the two of you found this whole thing amusing, which I find is an interesting word, because he said, you have to remember, this is a company that has gone around the world and undermined democratic institutions in all kinds of countries. They could not care less as to whether or not their work is compliant because they like to win. So I want to go back to SCL then, because I'm looking at the SCL group's contract of which you are part of, and yet you say you're not part of that. So how could you be listed as a partner in doing work in Trinidad and Tobago through SCL if you're not connected with them?
We have done work for SCL, and we've not hidden that. We did a few projects for them starting in 2013 and ending in 2016. And for a few of those projects, we signed some contracts with SCL to do that work, but we're not a part of them.
Okay, would you say that that work was totally legal? Because I see getting internet service provider log files. Mr. Wiley says that you go around the world doing illegal work, and that's what you did in Brexit. How would you assure us that the Trinidad work was legal?
All the work, the work we did in Trinidad was two things. One, to make a political customer relationship management tool for the client, SCL's client there. And the other part was to provide SCL with information on popular websites in Trinidad and Tobago.
But that's not what it says here. It says that what you were doing was gathering data for them that would include internet service provider log files. That's a very specific kind of work, which to me would certainly be questionable whether it's legal. You were doing that contracted by SCL.
Yeah, the information that we provided to SCL was simple, commercially available information on which websites in Trinidad and Tobago were popular amongst folks in Trinidad and Tobago.
So Mr. Nix was not involved with you in the Brexit campaign? Because, again, I just find it so odd, and nothing against your company, but, you know, you're set up above this optometrist shop in Victoria. Nobody's ever heard of you. Your only access through a website is through SCL Canada link that apparently you say you're not. And yet you got 40% of the Brexit contracts. You got all these front groups that were set up. The money was funneled to you. I'm just amazed that you guys have those connections. How did all that happen?
So to your first point about our website, we've had a website since before we were even incorporated, and I know that because I made it. With respect to how we got the work from Brexit, we submitted a proposal to the Vote Leave campaign. And that was at the beginning of, or end of March, beginning of April of 2016. And within a few weeks, they selected our proposal, and we started working for them once they became a designated campaign.
Leave.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Believe came at the end of the campaign. They contacted us, and we did the work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Angus. Next up, for 7 minutes, Mr. Bayless.
So thank you for being here. First of all, I wrote down to get an understanding of your business. You said you work with different campaigns, correct? Do online advertising, make websites, digital marketing, these type of things?
Correct.
And do Facebook ads for clients?
Correct.
Software for door-to-door, phone calling, emailing, that general
type of
stuff
thing.
that all
Correct.
campaigns work, yeah. Is there some specific skill set that you have or some access to a database that would make you stand out? I assume you have a lot of competitors, even here in Canada. Would that be fair to say, let alone in the United States, Europe, and that?
I can't say in terms of the number of competitors. It's not a huge space in terms of the work we do. And to your question about big database, we don't have big databases of data. We don't keep data. The only
You
data
don't have any database that would be unique to anybody saying I need to use AIQ.
No, the information that we get is from clients for provisioning of service to that client specifically.
So okay, fair enough. Who are your competitors just in Canada? You've been in business for, you said 5 years ago you incorporated. You must know your Canadian competitors.
We don't do a lot of work in Canada, so
I didn't say you did. I asked who would be your competitors because you're obviously bidding on Canadian opportunities too, I assume.
I mean, I wouldn't say bidding. It's not like a public bidding process. From time to time, someone might suggest that so-and-so is looking for digital advertising, and then we submit a proposal to them. and talk to
You
them.
go and see them in that, right?
Yeah, and then we'll see them
But
talk
you
about
make
it.
you make a proposal and you hope you win the business over someone else, right?
Yeah, typically.
Okay. And same thing happened in the United Kingdom. You said you made a proposal. I assume other people have made proposals.
To our knowledge, yes. Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm going to try and ask then, you did work for 4 leave groups, Vote Leave, DUP, Veterans for Britain, and Believe. Did you do any work for any of the Remain campaigns?
No, we did not.
Okay, so you did work for 4 of the leaving campaigns. What would all 4 of them bring them together to you? Did you have an amazing website? What was it that brought them to you?
I can't speak on their behalf. I just know that with respect to Believe, they contacted us. I'm trying to think in terms of the others. I think we may have reached out to the organizations and suggested that they work with us, and then had a conversation.
Someone suggested that they work with you?
No, we suggested that they work with us.
Who you suggested?
Believe?
You called up Believe and you said, "Hey, maybe you should
No,
work with us."
Believe contacted us. They found us.
They called you up. And what about?
Well, they emailed us,
Okay,
yeah.
fair enough. What about Veterans for Britain? How did they contact you?
With Veterans for Britain, I think we reached out to them, and again, this is a long time ago. So, but then they contacted us by email.
The DUP.
I don't recall the exact specific. It was
Introduction.
It was just an introduction from someone who we talked
Someone
to.
introduced, and no one introduced you to the Remain. You seem to be pretty strong in the Britain market. No one said, "Hey, these guys are really good."
No.
Or- okay. So you don't have any unique skill sets unless I missed something, and you've got 4 of these Remains that somehow came to you. Was Mr. Wiley involved in any of those?
No, as I mentioned
He
earlier.
didn't
No.
put you in touch with anybody. That.
No.
So, and you didn't ask the Believe, by the way, how'd you hear about us? Did you ask that question? Just curious.
No.
Okay, so you didn't ask that question. With respect now to the amounts that Believe was transferred to, 625,000 pounds, that full amount made its way to you, though it wasn't your profit, it was to buy ads.
Correct.
Okay. And there was no coordination to your knowledge between the DUP, Believe, Vote Leave, and veterans. There was no coordination between those groups.
We were not aware of any
No, fair enough.
coordination between any of those groups.
What specifically did you do different for Believe that you did not do for Veterans for Britain? What things differently did you do for them?
I don't think we did anything differently for any of
Oh,
them. really.
okay, so they called you up and there was no coordination. You did nothing different. They said, we'd like you to do ABC, and guess what? These
Oh, in
guys called you up and said, we'd like you to do ABC again.
In terms of-
exactly the same thing.
In terms of, do you mean in terms of how the ads were placed, or just specifically the type of work we were doing?
Both the type of work you were doing, what in the type of work you were doing was different.
So with respect to Vote Leave, the type
Not
of work.
Vote Leave. I asked
just the
about
other 3?
Believe, yeah.
So with Believe and Veterans for Britain and the DUP, we were doing online ads for them.
And did you do online ads for Vote Leave?
We placed online ads for
Okay,
Vote Leave.
so in that one there, you did online ads for A, B, C, D, all 4 of them. So you're doing the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we do.
You did, but no, you do a bunch of things. You said you do door-to-door knocking.
We don't.
software.
So no, we don't do the door knocking. So we create.
You create the software, but
We create
you didn't
software to
sell.
help
You
them.
didn't sell them software for doing door-to-door.
No, we also did a little bit of.
But you didn't
website.
sell any one of them door-to-door software knocking.
No,
Okay. Did you sell any of them to make a new website?
we did some website work just as part of the online advertising for Believe and for Veterans for Britain.
So you
there's
did
some
the same
civil-
thing for Veterans for Britain as you did for.
Well, I wouldn't say they're the same. They are websites, but they're not the same websites.
Yeah, they had different names, but the same background work.
I mean, website work is fairly standard.
That's what I thought too. So what different did you do? Because there's been no coordination to your argument behind it. You have no specific skills that you've said. You haven't said, look, Frank, we can do this that no one else in the world can do, or we have this amazing database that no one else in the world has. We have done no coordination. You get contacted. You don't know why Believe called you up. They just called you out of the blue. Fair enough. It happens, I guess. And they asked you to do exactly the same thing for the same amount of money that they've just been transferred. What specifically different did you do that would tell me that they were at least had say, you know what, you've done something great here. We don't even know. Theoretically, they don't even know, right? Because how would they know, unless they coordinated, that you were working with Vote Leave?
So I believe at that point that we had that Vote Leave had made a reporting of their financials to the Electoral Commission, which had been released publicly, and there was a little bit of media about the
So
fact that
you
we'd
think
done some
that
work,
you
but
think that Believe read this financial reporting and said, "Hey, look at this. It looks like Vote Leave's got this great company. They went on your website, looked it up, and called you." Is that what happened?
I don't know. But
You don't
but to
know.
your question as to what was different,
But you didn't.
the
No, before that, you didn't bother to ask them. You're in the data gathering. You're looking for customers, I assume. You didn't bother to ask them. You know, like I get this box. Were you referred by a friend? Did you see our website? Was it a coupon? You didn't ask that question.
No, they emailed us to ask if we could help out. But to your question,
But you didn't ask them, how did you get my name?
Sorry, we didn't ask them when.
You didn't ask Believe, how did you get in touch with me? How did you know about me?
Well, they emailed us. We know how they got in
No,
touch with us.
they emailed you, but how did they find your name? Did they do a Google search and you came up first or second? What happened?
No, I mean this was a campaign that that was around, and so we knew they existed. But
You knew they existed. How
Thanks,
did they know
Mr.
you
Yes.
existed?
I don't know. I can't speak for them.
And you did not
Thank you,
ask
Mr.
them.
Bayless.
No,
And that wasn't of interest to you.
I mean.
And then they asked
in
you to
campaigns,
do
in
That's fine.
campaigns.
That's fine. And then
Mr.
they
Bayless,
asked you
you're
to do
at
exactly
time.
the same thing.
Mr. Bayless, you're past time. Thank you, Mr. Bayless. Next up for 5 minutes, Mr. Gord.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Merci. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to our two witnesses for being here.
It was interesting that you said that you offer specialized services for election campaigns, but what I'm finding it hard to understand is why your clients picked you to do things that are relatively doable by the very organizations or parties, because they can certainly put ads on Facebook. You put Facebook ads up, but what are the extra services that you provide clients that make them choose you? Because if they were just transferring work to you for the sake of it, it's pretty easy to find people to put Facebook ads up. You must offer them something else, some added value in order to provide you with the contract.
The work that we do for the campaigns, we specialize in online advertising for politics. And so it's no different with any industry. If you understand the industry a bit, it helps to make that process a bit more efficient. But it's really no different than any of us, fixing a car. We also have owner's manuals for our car, but we still bring it to a mechanic because they're the experts at it. And so we help the campaigns to take their message, craft it into a size and in terms of how big it is, how much text there is, we use our experience in terms of what sort of things have worked in terms of how that layout goes in order to place them online. And so the added value, of course, we bring is that we can do it very quickly and efficiently for them so that they can get their information out there. And not all campaigns, and particularly those that aren't connected to a long-term political party, have that expertise in-house. The parties here, represented here, have folks who can do that for them. But not everyone does. And so they need help, and we're happy to provide that help.
Est-ce que vous offrez des services?
Do you offer services? So inclusive services, so that you provide advertising and the whole range of services? Are you involved in the whole process right up to the very voting day?
Clients, we can work with them to provide a political customer relationship management tool. And that is no different than what the Conservatives here have for their CIMS, or what's now C-Vote, or what the NDP have, what used to be NDP Vote or Populist, and the Liberals used to use Manage Elect, and now they use Liberal List, which is based off of the American NGP van. We provide a tool sometimes for campaigns to use, and then, yes, we'll support them through the use of that tool and through our advertising right through to voting day.
Vous semblez être bien.
You seem to be very aware of the various systems that the different parties use. Do you have any access to those, or do you have a reason for being so aware of those?
Politics in Canada for a while, and I used to work with a Liberal member of Parliament and certainly volunteered on his campaigns. I've volunteered on campaigns of many parties, and so I have seen different systems. Yeah.
Donc, l'expertise que vous...
So the expertise that you have acquired in your past work for your company comes from your work on provincial and federal election campaigns. You have acquired this expertise, and now you are in the private sector with what you have learned. So you are aware of the personal information provided by clients. But when you see information that now you're saying that you don't have your own databases, but you work with clients' databases. So those databases could have personal information that should not be made public. So, what do you do with the information in those private databases?
Client provides us information. It's typically for two purposes. The information they provide us might be information on of the voters in there, the registered voters in their area, and this is information that when all of you become registered candidates that you get access to from Elections Canada. In the United States, they get it from their county or from their state. This is your basic contact information of who's registered. When we get that information, and if we're providing a political customer relationship management tool, we'll help them load that into that tool so that they have a way of keeping track of who's deciding to vote for them or not. Customers might also provide us with an email list, for example, that they want help loading into an email tool that we've created for them, or into the door-to-door tool, or into a phoning tool. So that's how we use the information. There are times as well that they might ask to use that information for reporting, in which case we will also provide those reporting services.
Thank you, Mr. Gord. Next up for 5 minutes, Mr. Saini.
Good morning, gentlemen. Just a quick question. You said that you both started the company, right? So what I'm assuming is that both of you went to a lawyer. You had articles of incorporation that were drawn up. So in those articles of incorporation are both your names.
Yeah, we're the only two directors of the company. Yeah.
So in the articles of incorporation that were set up by your company, there's only your two names that are there.
Correct.
Right? Okay. So you have obviously startup costs. You start an office, you need desks, chairs, computers, pencils, pens, coffee machine. Where'd that money come from?
Well, all of the work that we've done has then funded the future development of our company.
So but I'm talking when you started that, when you had the articles of incorporation, I'm assuming that's when you started the company. So the funding to start up and set up that company, where did that money come from?
Well, it wasn't much money to start because we did it from our homes. Zach worked from home.
Okay,
I worked
so
from
the
home.
funding that you received was from your own personal finances?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have here, and I'm going to quote this, Mr. Wiley, in his testimony before the UK Digital Culture, Media and Sport Committee, testified that Aggregate IQ was set up as a separate Canadian legal entity so that Canadians who were not willing to move to the UK would be able to work on SCL products. He goes on to confirm that it was in essence a shell company or franchise, but that you were signed to the SCL group and that you would be known as SCL Canada. Is this true or not?
No, that's not true.
So you never had a conversation with Mr. Wiley where he told you that now he was working for an entity in England and he was reaching out to you to find out if there was anybody that you knew or who could do the work?
Mr. Wiley and I did have a conversation when he started working for SCL. He told me, or not conversation, rather he sent me an email. In that email, he introduced his new employer to me, and I read the pamphlet. But in terms of later, when he introduced me to his employer, we didn't have a conversation about setting us up as a shell corporation.
So because there was some hesitancy, and I'm just, according to his report, because there was a hesitancy of you guys moving to England to work there because of what he quotes as, I guess you both were recently married, you had young kids, you had bought a home, that it would be easier for you guys to have a shop in Victoria and still work transatlantically.
That's not accurate
That's not
representation of how it happened.
Okay, that's fine. What is Ripon?
Ripon is a project of SCL. Part of that project was they contracted to us to create a political customer relationship management tool. And as I've mentioned, it's no different than Liberal List or C-Vote or the NDP's populist tool. And this tool, they wanted us to build for them so that they could use it in the American elections.
Okay, so you built this software, proprietary software, I'm assuming, for them?
Correct.
Who owns it?
At the conclusion of the contract and having been paid, they own that project.
So is that customary in your line of work, that you develop a software that's proprietary, you put your efforts into making this, it becomes intellectual property, why would somebody else own it?
Well, they paid us to make it.
So they paid you to make it, so that goes to them now. Now it's up to them. So you're talking about SCL?
SCL, correct.
So they use that software.
Yeah, so they paid us to make it, we made it, and then we gave it to them.
Okay. So you've also done work in foreign countries. Is that true?
That's correct.
So from whatever reading I've done, you've done work in Nigeria, Trinidad, and Kenya. Is that true?
We've never done any work in Kenya.
Never done. So it's Nigeria and Trinidad.
We have done some work in Nigeria, and we have.
What work did you do in Nigeria, and who did you do it for?
We did some work for SCL to place online ads.
Okay. For which political party?
It was a independent promoter of like a independent expenditure sort of thing in support of Good Luck Jonathan.
Good luck, Jonathan. Okay. So something Mr. Wiley said, again, in front of the community in the UK, he said that the video that AIQ distributed in Nigeria with the sole intent of intimidating voters included content where people were being dismembered, which people were having their throats cut and bled to death in a ditch. They were being burned alive. There was incredibly anti-Islamic and threatening message portraying Muslims as violent. So who did that?
So the video was given to us, but we were not willing to distribute it or run any ads to it or anything.
So who distributed them?
To our knowledge, no one.
But he said that it's been distributed.
I don't know why Mr. Wiley said that. Mr. Wiley was not involved in. He was gone from SCL by that time, so I don't know.
So you were given. So you were given this video, and it was never used.
We were given the video. No, we didn't run any ads to it or anything like that. And we informed the client that we were unwilling to do that.
Okay. So you did some work in Trinidad.
Correct.
Who offered that work to you?
That was the first work we did with SCL.
Okay. So SCL got the contract from Trinidad.
Correct.
And then they contracted you to do the work.
They subcontracted us to do a portion of that work.
So what work did you do?
I think I mentioned before, we did a political customer relationship management tool for a political party there. And
was it Ripon that you?
No, it was completely different tool.
So Ripon is a separate entity. So every time you have a customer, you develop individual proprietary software for each company.
So we do development in a number of different ways. Sometimes we make our own software that we then license to clients along the way, and other times they will want their own custom software. In the case of Trinidad and Tobago, they were asking for some custom software.
The reason I asked that question
Mr.
is
Saini. I know it seemed fast, but
it was really fast.
it was. Thank you. Next up for 5 minutes, Mr. Kent.
Thanks. Thank you, Chair. We learned, gentlemen, from UpGuard, the data breach investigator, which is associated to Chris Vickery's cyber risk research, that two of the project families, as described by UpGuard, called Saga and Monarch, are designed to gather and use data across a number of platforms. Saga seems quite innocent and similar to programs that are used by political parties in perhaps a less sophisticated way, which is intended or able to automate the creation, analysis of targeting of ads in a way that would make it easy for a small number of people to manage a large number of Facebook ad accounts. And again, UpGuard says, and I'll ask you whether or not it's accurate, that Saga was used specifically to interface with the Facebook ad system through APIs and scraping methods to gauge response to images and messages. And then UpGuard says Monarch takes up where Saga leaves off, where Saga, they say, is a tool capable of tracking what happens when someone clicks a Facebook ad. Monarch seems designed to track what happens afterwards, giving a controlling entity, they say, a more complete picture of their target's behavior. Is this what is described as psychographic profiling, and is that essentially what Saga and Monarch do?
No. And some of your description wasn't entirely accurate, so if I could explain.
I'm just quoting what UpGuard has reported.
So the security researcher, while he's able to see some of the code, is not able to see how we've deployed or implemented that. So he can only make assumptions based on what he's looking at. The Sega tool does connect to the Facebook ad account side, so that is where we place the ads in order to get numbers on how ads have performed over time for our clients. Monarch takes information that people, when they go to our customer's website, and they voluntarily enter their information. And indeed, I mean, many of the members here have websites that ask for the exact same thing. So you might ask on your site, for example, please sign up to my mailing list. So you want to make sure when someone puts their email address in there that they get signed up to a mailing list, and that's what Monarch does. So it helps to make sure that information gets to the right place on behalf of the client.
Now, what UpGuard seems to be suggesting is that some of the data that would be provided to AIQ to process and to report on may have been improperly harvested.
So again,
Do you have any way of knowing whether or not the data you're dealing with is properly or improperly harvested?
no. Well, yes and no. With the information that we get from Monarch or Sega when we implement that for a client, that's information which is provided by people who visit their website voluntarily when they enter their information on the website to, like I said, join a mailing list, volunteer, whatever it happens to be. With the information from Facebook, this is completely anonymous information on just the performance of a particular ad, whether it was seen X number of times, how many times it was clicked on. To your question about processing data, we don't really process data for folks. We take information that they provide us, like a voter list, like I mentioned, and put it into a tool like the political customer relationship management tool. But we're not data harvesters by any stretch of the imagination, and certainly we don't do psychographic profiling or profiling of any other type. We're not psychologists. We're tech guys or tech people, I should say, and we place ads. So no.
Have you ever or has Aggregate IQ ever used a database like Truth or the Saga or Monarch programs to affect the outcomes of elections in Canada, federal or provincial?
So we have done work in Canada, though not for the federal parties. But to say, do we use information in the tools that we've created and deployed for a customer to help influence the outcome of the election? Yeah. I would suggest that the volunteers and the candidates that use that are certainly trying to influence the outcome. When you go door to door, I expect you're doing so because you would like to influence the person you speak to into perhaps considering voting for you. It's really no different from what we do. The ads that we show it's the digital equivalent of an ad on someone's lawn or on a street corner. You choose where you want it to go, you put your message on there, and people drive by and see it. And it's the same for the internet, and same with going door to door, and same with making phone calls.
Now we know that.
Mr. Kent.
Oh, sorry.
We're at time.
Okay. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks. Next up, Ms. Forte, 5 minutes.
Merci, messieurs, d'être ici.
Thank you, and thank you to both of you for being here. My question is for Mr. Massingham, because you haven't had very much to say, so I would like to hear a little more from you. You mentioned in your presentation that you comply the best you can with legal rules, and you have said elsewhere that you clearly and fully comply. So are you saying that you may have broken Canadian or international laws?
Tu as un avis légal?
Do you have a legal opinion on that?
I'm not a lawyer.
Vous n'avez pas reçu d'avis légal avec ça?
So you haven't received any legal notice or opinions on your situation?
Probably speak to that better than I can.
Vas-y, Monsieur Sylvester, si vous avez plus d'informations que votre...
So, Mr. Sylvester, could you share with us any information you have, please?
As the Chief Operating Officer, I'm the one that's responsible for our compliance with privacy and information laws wherever we work. If we encounter a situation that's different from what we're used to in Canada or the United States, then there are times where we will seek a legal opinion. And certainly when working with regulators to make sure that we're giving them all the information we want, we make sure that we speak to a lawyer to make sure that we're giving them all the information that they've asked for.
Est-ce que vous pensez que vous avez enfreint?
Do you think that you may have violated any Canadian or foreign laws?
No, I don't believe we've violated any Canadian or foreign laws.
Merci. Ma prochaine question,
Thank you. My next question is, you said that on certain occasions you have used information or databases for parties, nonprofit organizations in Canadian elections, provincial or other.
Yeah, we have used, if an organization that we're working with would like our help in organizing their information in something like a political CRM, then yes, of course they will provide us with that information for the purposes of doing that work. And then at the end of that work, we delete that information. Well, they may ask us to return it to them and then delete it, or just delete it, and we'll comply with whichever they prefer.
Donc, vous n'avez pas de cadre ou de mesure.
So you don't have any framework or concrete measures on such decisions if you keep the data or you delete it, or how the data is handled after the fact?
Delete the data after we're done working with the client.
D'accord. Et vous avez mentionné, M. Sylvestre.
Very well. Mr. Sylvester, you mentioned in your presentation that you have measures in place to protect data while you have it. Could you give me clear examples of such measures in your organization?
So when we're using any information that's provided by a client, we make sure that we follow standard industry practice with respect to security certificates, encryption, all of the technologies that companies use to protect their information, and we ensure that meets all of our standards here, and of course their standards in the places where they're operating.
Est-ce que vous avez déjà eu des brèches ou un risque?
Have you ever had breaches or risks in the various projects you've been involved in where somebody may have breached your measures, and any data that were at risk as a result?
At the beginning, we did have an incident that was reported to us on March 25th, and we acted right away to secure that the information that was there at the servers, and indeed all of our servers. And then once we discovered that there was some personal contact information that had inadvertently been left, we contacted the Office of the Information and Privacy Commissioner in BC right away to let them know about that. But that information should not have been there. As I mentioned, it was that happened when someone was backing up code and accidentally also backed up some data that went with that code, so that when we deleted it off of the customer server, it wasn't deleted off of the code repository, unfortunately.
Et avec cette
And with that unfortunate situation, have you had to put new measures in place, or should you, to protect the data better in the future?
So we've put measures in place already to protect the information on that code repository. We've also put into place some new measures with respect to auditing of all of our servers more frequently. I imagine there will be additional recommendations that come out as our investigation continues, and we may also get some recommendations from the federal or provincial privacy commissioners, which of course we welcome and of course we'll follow.
Thank you, Ms. Forte.
terminé, merci.
The next up for a 3-minute round, Mr. Angus.
Chair. Mr. Massingham, I'm very interested in the work of SCL, Cambridge, and AIQ in Nigeria. So let's talk about the murder video. So this video was sent around with horrific pictures of people being burnt alive, where the message was very clear to incite anti-Muslim hatred in Nigeria. Who gave that video to you to release?
I do not recall who the individual was at SCL that provided that.
So someone at SCL provided that?
It was provided by SCL, yes.
Okay. So you were working for SCL on that campaign?
Yes.
Okay. Because Cambridge Analytica says they gave you that video. So Cambridge was working with you and SCL in Nigeria?
We worked with SCL on that.
Okay. Because it says that, and to your credit, that you were very freaked out by this video. You called it the murder video. But you were directed by SCL, and SCL is involved in what they call international PSYOPs. And Christopher Wiley explains the reason that SCL is so interested in these international campaigns. He says, you don't make a ton of money working on politics, particularly on a small island nation, for example, Trinidad and Tobago. But part of the business model is to capture a government, win an election. You get paid for that, but you don't make a ton of money. Where you make the money is then going into the government and making the deals. So once again, we have the three hombres, Cambridge, SCL, and AIQ working hand in hand in Nigeria. How were you coordinated with the other two? Sorry, Mr. Massingham as president.
We weren't coordinating.
But you were given the video. Cambridge said they gave you the video. You said it was SCL. I mean, it's the three of you. How were you, you know, they didn't just give you a video that totally freaked you out.
Sorry, during that time, we were unaware of even that there was a Cambridge Analytica.
Sorry, that's not entirely
Sorry,
accurate.
sorry. You serious? No,
Sorry.
no, sorry. I want to hear this, Mr. Massingham. You weren't aware that Cambridge Analytica existed when Cambridge Analytica said they gave you the video? So I just want to hear you. Just follow that up a little bit for us. You weren't aware that Cambridge Analytica existed?
So what?
No, sorry, Mr. Massingham said that.
So we worked with SCL on that campaign.
Right. Well, Christopher Wiley says, when you look at how Cambridge Analytica operates or how SCL operates, they do not care whether or not what they do is legal as long as it gets the job done. And he said that AIQ, quote, inherited a lot of that company culture, which is a total disregard for the law. So, working in Nigeria, where Cambridge Analytica says they turned that murder video over to you, you said you weren't aware that Cambridge Analytica exists. Is that correct, Mr. Massingham?
I may have misspoken there, but we worked for SCL during that election.
So what was your relationship with, did you know Cambridge Analytica was in Nigeria trying to undermine that election?
I did not know.
No, you did not know. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Angus.
Thank you.
I have a question. Just at the end of this round, I think a lot of us are concerned about third-party influence, and we're concerned about, we have certain laws about spending limits in campaigns. And you've been accused, this is a quote from Mr. Wiley, aggregate IQ was just used as a proxy money laundering vehicle. It said, Mr. Wiley said. So, was aggregate IQ a proxy money laundering vehicle for the pro-Brexit campaign, as Mr. Wiley said?
No.
Mr. Massingham. Okay, thank you. We'll go up for the next round. We're going to start off with Ms. Vandenbelt for 7 minutes.
Thank you very much. I'd like to go back to the relationship between you and Cambridge Analytica and SCL. And now you're saying that you are a separate company, but you have done work with them. So was this a subcontract? What was the nature of the contract that you had with them?
So we did, as I mentioned, we started work with SCL in 2013, and we did that work in Trinidad and Tobago. And then in 2014, they asked us to make a special American political CRM, which we've talked about, and we did some online advertising for them along the way as well. When we finished working with them in 2016, we have not worked with them or contacted with them since.
And so this was just a very straight up, you were subcontracting, do they refer people to you? Clearly you have personal relationships with some of the key people there.
Well, we had a personal relationship, I had a personal relationship with Mr. Wiley previous to his introduction to SCL, but he left SCL in 2014. We continued to do some work for SCL until 2016. But typically what would happen is they might have a client that wanted services that they needed help in terms of software development or online advertising, and then they would ask us if we would like to help them with that.
So have you received data sets from Cambridge Analytica?
Sir, received which?
Data sets. Have you received, you mentioned a Google Drive that you had access to, but have you received data from them?
From Cambridge? Well, we work directly with SCL. During an election, just like with any regular candidate, if there were like a political CRM that we were supporting, then they might provide the voter file list of registered electors for that particular campaign, and then we would load that into the political CRM for them.
Okay, because Mr. Vickery, when he testified, talked about certain electronic fingerprints, IDs, the ID number of a piece of data, or the listing of somebody as a client, and suggested that it made the relationship look like it was the same company, or the exact same data set, as opposed to two separate data sets.
Well, the only information, I don't know what the researcher was referring to there, but I can say that the only information we've received from SCL in provisioning of services for SCL was specifically for those clients that we were or campaigns that we were assisting.
Okay, and you mentioned that you don't have a data repository, but
We certainly have databases that we use, but we don't retain any personal information from one campaign to the next. And when a campaign or a client stops working with us, we delete all of that information. So we sometimes we provide the tool or the platform, like a political CRM, for a customer, and during that time, that does have personal contact information in it. But then once the campaign is over and our contract work is done, we delete that information.
And you've never transferred that information to any outside source before deleting it?
No, we don't transfer that information to anyone other than back to the people who provided it to us.
Now, in addition to the actual data, obviously a lot of these Facebook profiles are used to create these psychosocial behavioral profiles. Have you, Cambridge Analytica, according to the media, had 30 million of these psychographic profiles. Did you ever have access to those profiles?
When SCL, again, like SCL is the one that we were contracted to, so when SCL provided information to us for voters during elections in the U.S., it did contain some scores or rankings in that information, and some of that was, like, for example, a turnout score. Turnout score might be something that you use to go when you're going door to door to see who you should go to first or last based on how many elections a person has voted previously. And in the U.S., of course, voter turnout in elections is public information, but it also had 5 rankings or scores for personality in it.
So these scores, would you have ever used these scores for other clients in order to determine which ads to target to which people on Facebook?
No, not at all.
Is
No.
it possible that any of that information would have been used by others through you?
No.
Okay, so you're saying that none of this information was, when you're targeting for who you're going to advertise to, this is just done by whatever the client says, I want someone in this region. There's absolutely none of these psychosocial profiles being used in terms of determining who to target ads to.
No, the tools that we have access to through Facebook or Google already provide all of the targeting information that you need with respect to an audience. With Facebook in particular, you can target based on geography down to a postal code level. You can target an ad based on the general demographic characteristics, so male, female, general age category. And you can also target based on an interest category. And that information is really all you need in order to create an advertising campaign, and that's provided to us by the clients.
Do you still have any of these scores in any of your databases?
No.
So you haven't kept any of either the data itself, the scores, any of these profiles?
No, and we're not a data company, so we have no interest in any of that.
Okay, and you haven't shared that with anybody or,
No.
or received or transferred?
No.
Okay, when you're working, you're in Canada, but most of your work is outside of Canada.
Correct.
Which laws apply to you? Is it Canadian law or is it the law in the country in which you're working?
When we're working with any client, we follow the laws in Canada and the laws that they have in their jurisdiction.
Okay, because as you know, in Canada, as was mentioned, we have very strong laws in regard to third-party advertising. Have you worked? You say you work for campaigns. Have you worked with any third parties, other organizations that would want to spend money in order to influence elections who are not themselves political parties or candidates?
Yes.
Other than the ones in the UK that we already know about.
We have done some work in the U.S. in that
And
way
in
as well.
Canada?
No, not in Canada.
So you don't have any third-party clients in Canada
No.
for elections?
No.
Okay. Other countries, we've talked about Nigeria, we've talked about Trinidad, Tobago. What other countries have you worked with?
We did work in Lithuania, but that was providing a door-to-door tool for a candidate. The United States, Canada, the UK, and those 3.
Have you done pro bono work for any third parties or campaigns in Canada or in other countries?
We've not done any pro bono work for any campaigns or related. We've done some charity work, but not.
Okay, but would these be for any third parties that would be trying to influence elections?
No, not at all.
In any country?
No.
Okay,
Thank you, Ms. Vanderbilt. That's time. Next up for 7 minutes, Mr. Kent.
Thanks again, Chair. Mr. Wiley has said he came to know you, Mr. Sylvester, because of work that you both did on Liberal campaigns, Liberal election campaigns in Canada. You've mentioned that you've worked on Liberal campaigns, and we all have our own political affinities, and many people in this room have volunteered on any number of campaigns for any number of parties. But we do know that Mr. Wiley was contracted by the Liberal Party of Canada up until 2009, when his contract was terminated by the then Liberal leader Ignatieff for what he described as invasive work in terms of his contract work, his work in this digital area on election campaigns. We also know that Mr. Wiley was paid $100,000 for a contract shortly after the 2015 election for work either done before the election or after the election. That question is still unanswered. Did you work with Mr. Wiley in either of those two periods, either as an individual or through your company, AIQ, for the Liberal Party of Canada?
When Mr. Wiley, like I said, I've known Mr. Wiley since 2005, and while I was working for a member of Parliament, I did help him get the job because he had volunteered with the member of Parliament, and I did help him get the job in the leader's office under.
Who that member of Parliament was?
While I was working for the member of Parliament, through just the folks that I made, I'd suggested that they take Mr. Wiley on in the leader's office, and I think that was under Mr. Dion. But
you were a staffer or a volunteer?
Staffer. Yeah, I was a staffer for a member of Parliament, and so. But then once he moved on with Ignatieff's office, I knew he was there, but I didn't work directly with him. And then with respect to the further work that he did, I was aware that he was doing some work for them, but we weren't working with him, nor do I know the exact content of what he was doing.
Okay. Does AIQ have a publicly available mission statement or a statement available to clients, past or prospective, which states exactly where the line is drawn in terms of acceptable data processing or delivery of ads or work to affect the outcomes of elections?
So after the work in Nigeria, where we encountered that video that we talked about earlier, we did put in place some new language into our standard contract that talked about the ethics and morality of the particular videos and giving us the final say in what we would run or not run.
So it's not explicit, it's more per occasion. If you come upon something that you find ethically unacceptable, you draw the line with that client.
Exactly.
We've been talking about servers and working on client servers or your own servers. How many servers do you have, and are they all in Canada? How many AIQ?
How many do we control?
Yes.
Because we don't own our own servers. We use cloud service providers. And so depends on, right now, a lot. There's different, every project has its own server. It has development servers, there's test servers and things for the code. You know about our code repository. So I don't know the exact number, but I'd say quite a number of servers that we control, certainly. We don't own them. They're Amazon Web Services typically, but they're servers that we control. Yeah.
Right. And have either the British Columbia or federal privacy commissioners asked to access your servers or the content of those servers in their respective investigations?
Those we've been cooperating with the Office of Information Privacy Commissioner of British Columbia, and indeed we suggested that we go and meet with them and talk to them about all of the work. They've asked us lots of questions, and we provided all the answers. They followed up again just when we came here, and of course we'll be responding to them very shortly. But they've asked us in the latest letter. They've asked us a number of things which I haven't had a chance to address, so I couldn't say accurately if they've asked for that. Previously, though, they've asked us about the information that we hold, but not for the specific information that we hold. So
they haven't yet asked.
They may have in their most recent communications, but I have not spent the time because it was just as we're arriving. So I haven't spent the time, unfortunately, to look at that yet.
Can you tell us why the British Privacy Commissioner Denham formerly the Privacy Commissioner of British Columbia, is on record saying that aggregate IQ has not been particularly helpful in her investigations.
Well, I don't know why she would say that. Like I said, we received a letter on the 17th of May in 2017. We responded in about a week and offered to answer any other questions or provide any clarification if we could. Then we didn't hear from her again until January 30th of 2018. So I don't know how answering her questions and responding promptly constitutes not being cooperative.
Have you been requested to appear at hearings in the UK, either parliamentary or privacy, or in the United States before Congress?
We've not been asked with respect to privacy or anywhere in the United States, but we did get a request from the UK Parliament to appear to a committee not dissimilar from this one.
And has that taken place, or
it's in the future? So we're going to be following up with them in this coming week to schedule that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kent. Next up for 7 minutes, Mr. Angus.
Chair, Brittany Kaiser testified this past week at the UK, and she said, when I joined Cambridge Analytica, AIQ was our exclusive digital and data engineering partner. Mr. Massingham, is that correct?
I can't speak to that.
Well, is it correct? Can you say it's
I
no?
don't know if it's correct or not. They worked with a number of different contractors.
No, Cambridge Analytica says AIQ was our exclusive digital and data engineering partner. So is AIQ the exclusive data and engineering partner of Cambridge Analytica?
No.
No, okay. Chris Vickery says AIQ is the data digital development team for SCL Canada and Cambridge Analytica. Mr. Massingham, is that true?
No.
Okay. Christopher Wiley says that you are a franchise operation of Cambridge Analytica and SCL. Is that true?
No.
Okay. Mr. Wiley says that when he was appointed at Cambridge Analytica, that he said, we need a Canadian office, and he went to Alexander Nix, and he says, there's a couple of Canadians I want to hire. And then he said that the group was set up as SCL Canada, but they had a Canadian entity, and that legal name was Aggregate IQ. Is that correct?
No.
Okay. He said one of the reasons that they set this up was that it was very useful to keep the company at arm's length. It was useful, he said, particularly for American projects where you need different entities to work on campaigns and PACs and various other entities where you cannot necessarily coordinate, but if you have different companies, the paperwork looks appropriate and the paperwork compliance, even if behind the scenes you're talking back and forth and using the same underlying technology. Is that correct?
Sorry, what was the question?
The question is, he said that they were set up to keep you at arm's length because it was useful in order to make sure that the paperwork compliant, particularly with American projects.
I don't believe that's correct.
Okay. So up until March 2017, SCL had a phone that went directly to you, Mr. Massingham, as their head of SCL Canada. Is that correct?
It's come to my knowledge that that was the case.
Okay. How do you get a phone that's from a UK office that goes directly to you? If you're not, like, did the phone ever ring?
No.
Okay.
It was Mr.
It was my personal phone.
Yeah.
It was your personal phone. So SCL had that. Christopher Wiley also testified that you guys have been very careful about being technically precise, but that you were, quote, using weasel words. Would that be correct?
I don't believe so, no.
No, you wouldn't. I guess what I'm wondering here is that everyone else must be involved in an amazing conspiracy against you, Mr. Massingham. They're accusing you of being a part of Cambridge Analytica, which you said you didn't know existed until during the Nigeria campaign. Mr. Wiley said he helped set you up, which you said isn't true. SCL Canada lists you as their head of Canada services, which you say is not true. You had a phone that went directly to you. So why is everybody against you, Mr. Massingham?
I'm not sure. I can only speak to the work that we do at Aggregate IQ and that what Jeff and I have done together.
I guess because that takes me back to the question of the Brexit campaign, which the question is this is a spectacular success story of, again, this unknown company above a optometrist shop in Victoria that got all those campaigns, all that money, coordinated it. They said that you were set up as a proxy money laundering campaign. Is that true, Mr. Massingham?
No.
You know, the great thing about being in Parliament, when you speak at our committee, it's parliamentary privilege. You can't be sued for what you say, Mr. Massingham. They can't use it against you in court. So I'm not sure why you expect us to believe that all these people are making stuff up about you when you could just explain to us why you were set up with SCL and what your direct role is with SCL and Cambridge Analytica, because the idea that this is all a series of isolated companies that had nothing to do with each other, you didn't know each other, you just happened to be working on all the same projects, and you are listed as SCL Canada. Why don't you just tell us what you're covering up for SCL Canada, Mr. Massingham? Why are you taking the fall for these guys?
We're not taking the fall
Mr. Massingham
for
is
anyone.
listed. You're not listed as the head of SCL Canada. Mr. Massingham is. I want to know how that happens.
Mr. Angus, I can't speak to what marketing materials they've put out or what they do with my contact information, but I can tell you we are not a part of SCL or Cambridge Analytica.
Really? Okay. So I would suggest then that there's been an incredible international fraud perpetrated here against you, Mr. Massingham, that I look at your name and it's the head of SCL Canada by a reputable British company that's been involved in all kinds of international work, that they had a phone that led right to you. Were you aware? When did you become aware that SCL had a phone that went directly to you?
It wasn't until recently that this was brought up in the press that I was even aware of that.
Okay.
Like I said, we're separate companies.
Okay. So I want to get then back to the issue that brought us here, the issues that came out of the Brexit campaign, that they're accusing you of being an electoral money laundering machine. And one of the key elements is that is your role with Believe and the £625,000 that went directly through this marginal students group into your operation and then was used in the last 6 days of the Brexit campaign. Do you think that that may have affected the result? Because that's what they're saying in the United Kingdom.
I can't speak to what effect it might have had. I only know what Believe asked us to do and place their ads, and that's what we did.
Did you have any concerns at any time that it might be illegal? Because Mr. Wiley said he particularly approached you, actually Mr. Sylvester, here's a chance for you to answer. He approached you and he said that you thought it was all quite amusing and that you said it was totally illegal. So Mr. Sylvester, why did you say it was totally illegal?
I don't think I ever said to Mr. Wiley that what was happening was totally illegal, as I mentioned to you earlier.
You're on the record here, right?
I understand
Mr.
that.
Wiley's going to come and he's going to say that you did say it. He's already said it on testimony, so
Yeah.
just fess up. Did you say it was totally illegal?
Mr. Angus, we're trying to provide you all the information that we have and to be as helpful as possible to give everything we know about what is true. That's what we're continuing to do. And how Mr. Wiley came to the misunderstanding about what I had said, I don't know how he came to that misunderstanding. When I heard about it in the press, I believed it was a misunderstanding. I sent a text to Mr. Wiley to ask him to talk about it.
It wasn't a lie. It was just a misunderstanding that you said something was totally
I don't
illegal.
know why he's saying it, Mr. Angus. I only know what we've done and the work we've done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Angus. Next up for 7 minutes, Mr. Erskine-Smith.
Thanks very much. So after my first round of questioning, I received a note from the chair of the UK Digital and Culture Committee, Damien Collins. He's spoken after my questions to the UK Information Commissioner, and she's indicated that AIQ has refused to answer her specific questions relating to data usage during the referendum campaign, and that the UK Information Commissioner is considering taking further legal measures to secure the information that she needs. So in this round of questioning, I would ask for a little bit more honesty. So Mr. Massingham, you received $625,000 or so from the Vote Leave campaign to do work on behalf of Believe. That's correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
And you received $100,000 from the Vote Leave campaign to do work for veterans for Britain. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Did you receive any other funds from Vote Leave to do any other work on any other campaign?
No, I don't believe so.
So it's 625,000 from Vote Leave for Be Leave, 100,000 for Veterans for Britain from Vote Leave, and then the 2.7 million pounds directly from Vote Leave for work for Vote Leave. That's the picture.
We did some work directly for the DUP as well, but yeah, aside
And
from
how much
that,
did you receive from the DUP?
32,000.
When you received the 625,000 from Vote Leave to do work for Be Leave, was there any consultation with Vote Leave officials about how that should be spent?
No. When we were
sorry. My question's for Mr. Massingham.
No.
No. So there would be no correspondence in and around the time of that $625,000 transfer, or pound transfer, with you and Vote Leave officials.
I don't believe so, but there may be communication between myself and one of their comptrollers about the wire instructions.
Okay, so any correspondence, email, Slack, or otherwise, between yourself, Mr. Sylvester, and Vote Leave officials about how that ad spend should be directed, I'd like you to provide that to this committee. Since AIQ had access to programs for Vote Leave, Be Leave, and Veterans for Britain, did you optimize that ad spend in any way to ensure that the messages targeted from one campaign, there wasn't overlapping messages to the same targets?
No, the targeting information was provided us directly from each campaign.
So how is a kid, 22-year-old kid at Be Leave, that up to that point has spent, in the tens of thousands of pounds, if that, he gets an intake of 625,000 pounds, and he's got the know-how to direct 625,000 pounds of ad spend, and to tell you specifically how to do it? That's your evidence?
Not how to do it. He said who they were trying to show these ads to.
Okay, so Mr. Massingham, you were part of the Slack channel. What did Mr. Grimes tell you to do?
Take the display and Facebook creative and target it to the discussed Be Leave audiences with their message, which was separate from the Vote Leave message.
How was it separate?
Darren and Be Leave wanted to target a more youthful audience with a positive vision of what a future outside of the EU might look like.
Were you aware that if the 625,000 pounds was spent by Vote Leave as Vote Leave, that they would have violated election finance law?
Yes, that would have put them over their cap.
But you were aware of that at the time?
That was the cap that all the campaigns were
So the answer is yes?
Yes.
If there wasn't coordination, why would there be a Google Drive owned by the COO of Vote Leave holding Be Leave related documents to which you had access on behalf of AIQ?
I can't speak to that.
It seems to indicate there was coordination. Is that fair?
So that
Not for Mr. Massingham. That evidence seems to suggest there would be coordination. Is that fair to say?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. Have you read the Matrix Law Chambers report to the Digital and Culture Committee of the UK?
No, I have not.
Okay, well, in that report, they note that on June 13th, Grimes was in a position to make arrangements with yourselves to provide services. Does that sound right? June 13th, 2016.
June? Yeah.
Okay. June 17th, Grimes asked Vote Leave to transfer funds to AIQ, but he didn't know what amount was due to be transferred. Does that sound right?
I can't speak to that.
Okay. On the same day that Grimes asked Vote Leave to transfer the funds, AIQ provided an insertion order for services which corresponded to the amount of the transfer to AIQ made by Vote Leave. So here's what I don't understand. In very short periods of time, this is according to the law report, between the offer of donations by Vote Leave and the conclusion of advertiser agreement and insert orders between Grimes and yourselves, the surprising similarity between the sums donated and the contractual obligations ostensibly already undertaken by Be Leave to AIQ. How is this not a coordinated campaign? Mr. Massingham.
Well, I was trying to provide you the information with respect to the invoices and such.
No, Mr. Massingham. Based on we're talking in some cases 22 minutes between the offer and asking for it to be paid by AIQ. So Mr. Grimes is asking $625,000 to be spent. He doesn't actually know what the ad spend, what he's going to receive yet, and he's directed you to do an ad spend, and somehow gets the exact same amount from Vote Leave immediately thereafter to coordinate the ad spend with you. How is this not a coordinated campaign between Vote Leave and Believe?
I'm not sure.
Who was your point of contact with Veterans for Britain?
David Banks or Will Carver?
Okay, and the £100,000 spent by Veterans for Britain, same idea. It was you received this £100,000 from Vote Leave to spend it on behalf of Veterans for Britain, but there was no coordination whatsoever.
Veterans for Britain told us they received the donation and that they would like to put that money towards online advertising.
Did you not think it was strange? You received £625,000 from Vote Leave to spend on behalf of Believe. Did you not think that was strange in the context that if they spent it on behalf of Vote Leave themselves, they would have gone over the limit? Did this not raise any flags for you at the time?
No.
You thought it was perfectly normal to receive a $625,000 pound donation from Vote Leave on behalf of Believe. That was just normal.
When they asked us to do the work, we sent an invoice to Believe, and then they let us know that was going to be paid by Vote Leave. That was odd to us that Vote Leave was making a donation.
Within what period of time did that happen?
That was all within a couple of days.
Yeah, within a couple of days.
Correct.
So in a couple of days, you get $625,000 directed ad spend told to you by Grimes, a 22-year-old kid who's never spent more than what, 10,000 or 20,000 pounds in the course of the campaign to date. And 6 days before the campaign, he says, spend 625,000 pounds. And then a couple days later, you say, oh, it's going to be paid for by Vote Leave. That doesn't raise any red flags for you,
So when that happened, we
Mr.
did.
Massingham.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks very much.
Mr. Smith. Next up for 5 minutes, Ms. Gord.
Je vais essayer de
Thank you. I want to come back to something a little bit more positive. Are your clients satisfied with the services that you provide to them? What we could say is that your company works very quickly. You put advertising up on Facebook and so on, but do you help produce the advertising or do you just put it on Facebook? Do you actually create that advertising?
So the clients will come to us with their vision, their message, the things that they want to talk about. They'll oftentimes have images to go with it. So we take their words and try to shrink it down into something that will fit online. But the content really comes from the client, and we just help craft that into something that will fit in an online ad.
Si votre client
If your client provides you with advertising that seems to be fake news, will you agree to distribute it anyway because you're not supposed to have an opinion on what you are providing?
And that's not happened in the course of us providing services either. If a client, the information that clients provide to us is typically very well aligned to exactly what they're doing in their campaign, whether it be their vision, their ideas for the future, the things they care about. These types of things are the sorts of things that clients provide us typically.
dans l'expérience que vous avez
With your experience in Brexit and the companies that you were working with, did they declare the amounts that they provided to you in that campaign, or was it really on the side of their campaign?
Amounts of the spending, or did they, or are we talking about the content of the ads?
là, je parle du monde.
I'm talking about the money you received for the services that you provided during the campaign. But since you are a Canadian company that provided the services to another country, were those amounts provided in the Brexit campaign reporting? So in Great Britain, was it recorded and reported that those organizations received, rather paid the amounts of money that they did to you?
All of the reporting on all of the work we did in the UK was publicly reported.
Merci.
Thank you.
Next up for 5 minutes, Mr. Bayless.
Thank you. I'm going to follow up on the point that my colleague just raised here, that he received a text just now refuting what you said. Specifically, the UK Information Commissioner, Elizabeth Denham, says, AIQ refused to answer her specific questions relating to data usage during the referendum campaign. It's to the point that the UK is considering taking further legal action to secure the information she needs. This is real time, just happened based on what you said. Who's not telling us the truth? You or her?
What I've told
Straight question now.
Yep.
Who's not telling us the truth? You just led us to believe that you got 2 letters and you answered them fully. She's saying that is not the case, to the point that we're looking at taking legal action.
If she has additional questions, I'm hopeful that she'll follow up with us.
She does not say that. She said you refuse to answer. So she doesn't have additional ones. She has the same ones that you refuse to answer. Is she not telling us the truth, or are you, Mr. Sylvester, not telling us the truth?
I've told you exactly what we've done, and
I'm asking you a straightforward question. This is directly refuted. Who's not telling us the truth here?
I've been 100% honest in all of my answers.
I will repeat it. She is happy to say that AIQ has refused to answer her specific questions. You've just said again, you did answer them all. Did you answer them?
We provided answers to all of the questions that she provided and offered to provide any clarification in our letters to her.
Explain to me how we got this information real time then.
Well,
Are you willing to go to the United Kingdom to testify?
Well, the UK
Do they need to take legal action to get you to testify?
No, we've already provided information to them. The UK Parliamentary Committee has invited us, and we'll follow up with them to talk to them.
My colleague, Mr. Angus, has pointed out time and time again where everybody else is wrong, and AIQ is right. Mr. Sylvester and Mr. Massingham, you've told us how everybody's got it incorrect. And now here we get real time where you've told us point blank, you received 2 letters, you answered them. We're told by their Information Commissioner, you refuse to answer them, to the point that they're looking to take legal action against you. Explain this to me. Who's not right? Her or you?
I don't think the 2 pieces of information are opposed. If she's not happy with the answers we provided, then
she does not say that. I'll read it again. AIQ refused to answer her specific questions. She doesn't say she's not happy. She said you refused. You said you answered them. Who's not correct here? Who's not telling us the truth? Now, keep in mind, as Mr. Angus just pointed out, everybody else has not been telling the truth, as you refuted. In this case here, is she not telling us the truth?
I can only speak for what we've done. And she sent us the letter on the 17th of May, and we responded. She sent us a letter again on the 30th of January, and we've responded.
Nothing here seems out of order to you. Everything you've done is correct.
No, I've said not everything.
Everything you've told us is correct.
Everything I've told you is true.
You have purposely misled us, Mr. Sylvester.
No.
You have just purposely misled us to the point that someone would contact us during your questioning and say you refused. You did not say you refused. She says you refused.
We answered the questions as best as we could, and that's all we can do. At each time we've responded.
This with a copy of this information that you said back.
The letters that we provided?
Both letters, yes.
Well, it's part of an active investigation. I don't know if I can.
What part will you not provide us? Why not?
Well, I'll have to check with the Information Commissioner's office.
What Information Commissioner's office?
The UK Information Commissioner's office.
The UK Commissioner's office. You need to check with her if you can provide us the information that you didn't give her.
Well, it's part of their app. No, we've answered the questions. If they have more questions, we'll happily answer them.
A quick other question. You said Vote Leave paid for Be Leave's invoice. Is that correct? You just said that.
Vote Leave made the donation to Be Leave directly to us, yes.
Vote Leave paid your invoice.
Vote Leave paid the invoice that we provided to Be Leave, yes.
Be Leave you've told us time and again there was zero coordination between Vote Leave and Be Leave.
Correct.
And now I just heard that Be Leave contacts you, engages your service, and guess what? Vote Leave paid. And you told us and led us to believe there was no coordination. How did they know to call up and pay the exact amount that you invoiced them? How did they know that?
When we sent the invoice to Mr. Grimes, he let us know that Vote Leave would be paying for that.
Yeah, but you told us there was no coordination between them.
Correct.
You led us to believe there's no coordination in Be Leave and Vote Leave, yet somehow they picked up the phone and said, you know what, I'm not only going to pay Be Leave's invoice, I'm going to pay the exact amount. How did that happen if there was no coordination?
When that happened, we, as I was
No,
trying
you
to say
said there
earlier
was none. I'm asking, how did it happen?
and I'm trying to explain that. As Mr. Smith asked earlier, and I was trying to explain, when the Be Leave told us that Vote Leave was going to pay for that information, we thought it a little odd ourselves. We looked into it on the website from the Electoral Commission, and we talked to the folks that we knew at Vote Leave and who were doing
You
compliance.
told us there was no evidence of any coordination between Be Leave and Vote Leave.
Correct.
You said that. Now you're telling us that they had enough coordination to pay an invoice, not just any invoice, £625,000. That's $1 million plus, and there is no coordination.
And if
Thank
I
you,
can
Mr.
finish
Davis.
the-
Mr. Sylvester, too. So we have the next question up is Mr. Kent for 5 minutes.
Thanks, Chair. Gentlemen, you said that aggregate IQ merely works with volunteer information, supporter information, donor information, which the client provides to you. But in the case of Cambridge Analytica, or SCL, how can you determine that the information that they are providing you to work with in campaigns of different sorts, like the ones we're discussing today, have been acquired legally, properly? It would seem to be that by shifting all the responsibility to your clients, it provides you with a plausible deniability, but surely you must sense in some situations when particularly large databases are presented to you that that you might have questions. Again, having worked with Mr. Wiley in the past and knowing the circumstances of his contract ending with the Liberal Party in 2009, that there might be invasive elements to the way that data was acquired.
So I don't know the nature of why he stopped working with the Liberal Party in 2009. I know, though, that the data that we get or the information that we get is typical voter file information. And so in the United States, for example, it includes their name, address, and then oftentimes it'll include their voting history. And that's typical information that any registered political party or any client or any candidate is going to get. And that's the type of information we get. So that's not unusual in any stretch of the imagination.
Well, Mr. Vickery, in his testimony regarding the Republican National Committee's data trust data and any number of other groups that they worked with, the Koch brothers-backed information company I-360, that in fact this goes far beyond that basic voter information, but digs down deeper into sexual preferences, religious biases or attitudes, racial attitudes. He says that basically it's a complete identity profile, and that the information that you may have worked with on the Republican campaigns was deeply personal and beyond the line, over the line in terms of the profiling of those individuals that you were targeting.
So I haven't seen data sets that have the specific information that you're talking about, but for one client in particular, we are doing some work with the Republican National database, but that's for that client. And the information in that database that we have access to is basic voter data in each state that we're working with.
Okay. My last question is, and this is more simple housekeeping. I understand that Aggregate IQ received an Industrial Research Assistance Program grant. Would you be willing to provide the committee with a list of the names of the individuals you communicated with regarding the application and awarding of that grant?
We worked with the NRC, with an industrial technology advisor, in order to complete that grant, and went through a very rigorous process with them. So I think all of that information is available through NRC.
And the program, the work that was done with the benefits of that grant funding was of what
we
nature?
made a reporting platform that took information from whether it be online advertising or door to door, and to just gauge a general idea about how a campaign was performing in that time. We've not deployed that program yet, but we're looking forward to doing that in the near future.
Is that available for client purchase in Canada?
Not for client purchasing, but for licensing. But we've not been able to do that yet. So.
You haven't approached any political
No,
parties?
we've approached people, and we have had someone we thought was going to move forward with it. They opted not to, and recently we had a few more, and they've opted to delay for the time being.
And obviously you would be discreet and not share with the committee who those potential clients might have been?
Well, we do owe confidentiality to our clients.
I understand.
Unfortunately.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kent. Next up for 5 minutes, Mr. Saini.
I just want to ask you a question. Part of what has transpired has been because of one survey, but I'm sure there are multiple surveys that occurred. Has there been any data transfer between Cambridge Analytica and AIQ, not only on this topic, but on other subjects?
I don't think so, no.
So there's been no data transfer of any information?
Sorry, from Cambridge Analytica?
From a Cambridge Analytica.
No, not from Cambridge Analytica.
Okay. So I have here in front of me testimony by Ms. Brittany Kaiser, who was the former Director of Program Development in Cambridge Analytica. And this is testimony she gave in the House of Commons Committee. And MP Ian C. Lucas asked her, did you know that Cambridge Analytica had an agreement with AIQ to transfer data? And her answer was, we would have had that because that would have been essential to our work on Senator Ted Cruz's presidential campaign. So is that incorrect?
The work we did on Ted Cruz's campaign was through SCL. But at the time...
Now, just to remind you that she's the former Director of Program Development at Cambridge Analytica.
I'm aware that SCL had some relationship with Cambridge Analytica.
Okay.
I don't know the extent of that relationship.
Okay. But she's confident that there was an agreement between Cambridge Analytica and AIQ to transfer data.
We have no agreements with Cambridge
So
Analytica.
she says that we would have to have had that because that would have been essential to our work on Senator Ted Cruz's campaign.
We have no contracts with Cambridge
Okay.
Analytica.
So then MP Lucas on a follow-up says, can you confirm that Cambridge Analytica transferred data to IQ? And her answer was, what I can say that is that the essential relationship between AIQ and Cambridge Analytica, or the SCL group, was that AIQ had built platforms that we used to collect data, so we would have had to transfer data between ourselves for us to access that.
Well, as I mentioned, we did create that software for SCL, and we talked about that earlier, the Political Customer Relationship Management. Mm-hmm. That platform, if candidates were going door to door, making phone calls, this sort of thing, that would track
So you're
that.
saying right now that you received no transfer data from Cambridge Analytica?
I'm saying we received information from SCL, but not from Cambridge
But
Analytica.
this goes to the contradiction. She's saying one thing, you're saying another thing. I just want to know who's right, who's wrong.
Perhaps it's just a question of which organization. Like I said, when we were working on Ted Cruz, we were working with SCL. She may have been unaware of the...
When you work in Ted Cruz's campaign, you received no data from that campaign, which is the United States, to your headquarters in Victoria. There was no data transfer.
I didn't say that, no. We received information from the campaign and from SCL for our work during that campaign.
Not from Cambridge Analytica?
Not from Cambridge Analytica.
Okay. So the chair in the committee, Mr. Damien Collins, in response to something that Ms. Kaiser says, on a point of clarification, you mentioned Chris Wiley worked for SCL Canada. Her answer was, that was a name used for, I don't know him as an individual or the AIQ office. That was considered SCL Canada. Our company tended to have a business model where we would partner with another company, and that company would represent us as SCL Germany or SCL USA. That was the model. His response was, so as far as you're concerned, SCL Canada and AIQ are the same thing. Her response was, I believe so, yes. So, I think all of us have sort of gotten this periphery of you guys being SCL Canada. Everybody that knew you or contacted you to work with you considered you SCL Canada. How would they have gotten that impression? Can you explain that?
So the work we did for SCL, as I said, came through SCL. I can't control how they speak about us within their company, but we've represented ourselves as Aggregate IQ always.
Okay. So the chair follow-up question goes, do you believe Chris Wiley was working for AIQ if he was also working for SCL Canada? Her answer, yes, I believe that SCL Canada was just a glorified title, but he was a full-time engaged with AIQ.
That's not accurate. We've always been 100% Canadian.
So her testimony here is inaccurate.
Yes.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Sandy. And last up for 3 minutes, Mr. Angus.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The question of the integrity of the electoral system here and around the world, to me, is sacrosanct. I'm looking at the pitch that SCL, Aggregate IQ, made on the Trinidad Tobago deal, Mr. Massingham, and it was to gather, the boasting of the ability to get de-anonymizing data, and that included emails. That would be illegal, would it not, Mr. Massingham?
In what context?
Being able to gather emails?
That would have been done through the party that tool would have been provided to.
Okay, so that was SCL working with Aggregate IQ in Trinidad. In Nigeria, your friend company, SCL, working with you in Cambridge Analytica, was also involved with a rogue Israeli ops team that included gathering private medical records and emails. You would be aware if you were involved in that would be illegal, right, Mr. Massingham?
I have no knowledge of that.
You have no knowledge of that. Because what Chris Wiley says is that people were getting very concerned. They were getting panicked phone calls. He said, my predecessor was found dead. One of my coworkers had a massive head injury and is missing part of his skull. People get hurt at this firm. Given that they work with Israeli private intelligence firms, whatever you do, whatever you pay them, this is why so many people are genuinely afraid to come forward and talk about the firm, because it is that intimidating. Mr. Massingham, you're listed as the head of SCL Canada. Do you want to continue to tell us that you're not the head of SCL Canada?
Not the head of SCL Canada.
Okay. So, to the next step of questions of illegality is going back to Believe, which is on the same Google Drive as the Vote Leave, which £625,000 was transferred and spent in the final 6 days, which the British Parliament is investigating whether or not that was illegal. And yet, when you were spoken to this by Christopher Wiley, they said, and this is a verbatim quote, Jeff Sylvester saying it was, quote, totally illegal. He said, they found it amusing. That's you and your partner there. Because you have to remember, this is a company that has gone around the world and undermined democratic institutions in all kinds of countries. They could not care less as to what their work is compliant because they like to win. I put it to you that if you've been lying to our committee and that you can't even answer your relationship with SCL Canada, you should not be involved in any way in elections because of your total disrespect that we see at our committee here. You know, we may seem like a quaint little operation, but we represent the people of Canada. And Mr. Massingham, when we asked direct questions about how you could have had a phone directed to you as the head of SCL Canada, and you said you weren't aware of that, that just beggars belief. I can't see how anybody give you a £625,000 campaign, let alone a £5 million campaign, if you didn't even know that you had a phone listing you as the head of another company. Don't you have anything to tell us, Mr. Massingham?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Angus. Now we're at the end of our questions. I have one question for you left outstanding, I believe. Were you ever part of or involved in coordinating or organizing multiple clients' ads for the same or similar campaigns?
Sorry, were we involved in coordinating between the clients or just that we worked with the clients?
That you were, I'll state it again just so it's clear. Were you ever a part of or involved in coordinating or organizing multiple clients' ads for the same or similar campaign? Yes or no?
No, I don't believe so.
Thank you. I just would say, as the chair of this committee, I think we're all saying the same thing, and we're all concerned. Something doesn't smell right here. And I just would, I would challenge the AIQ to do the right thing. Anyway, that's the end of our testimony today, and I'd like to thank everybody for your questions, and thank you for appearing today.